Billionaire exposes two women with a black card, but the MAID's heartwarming ACT was life-changing. Jack strode through the vibrant streets of downtown Chicago, cameras flashing like fireflies in the night. He was used to the spotlight, a self-made billionaire basking in a world of luxury. But today, amid the glimmer of wealth, an unsettling emptiness gnawed at him. People crowded around, eager to catch a glimpse of the man who had it all, yet inside, he felt adrift in a sea of opulence. As he entered an upscale restaurant, laughter and clinking glasses filled the air. Two well-dressed women at a nearby table flaunted their black credit cards, tossing them around like they were golden tickets to happiness. Jack couldn't help but cringe at their sense of entitlement. Just as they giggled about their latest extravagant purchases, a soft voice broke through the noise. "We should seek connection, not validation through wealth," said Maria, a maid working tirelessly in the background. His heart stumbled. There was a sincerity in her words that resonated deep within him. Jack's gaze swept toward her. In her early 30s, Maria juggled her demanding job while raising two young children alone, a real-life testament to hard work and resilience. Her essence felt like fresh air among the stifling haze of superficiality that surrounded him. As she passionately spoke about the need for community, he felt an unfamiliar heat rise in his chest. She was a stark contrast to his life of extravagant parties and cushy business lunches, a mirror reflecting what he had lost along the way. Later that evening, chaos erupted as customers shouted over each other. Jack noticed Maria navigate the mess with poise, all while entertaining a shy child left unattended at a nearby table. Her kindness pierced through his already complicated world. The more time Jack spent at the restaurant, the more he learned about Maria's journey, her dreams of a community center, a safe haven for those grappling with the struggles much like her own. Each story brought him closer to her reality, igniting a flicker of hope that maybe he could do more than just exist. Yet, soon after, Jack's attempt to launch a charitable initiative crumbled before his eyes, leaving nothing but frustration in its wake. What did he truly know about helping? Each subsequent visit to the restaurant became a pocket of solace, where Maria's stories always lit a spark within him. As winter settled in, the cold gray sky mirrored Jack's urgent turmoil. He overheard Maria talking to another employee about their community's hardships, the desperate need for help that seemed to echo in each word they exchanged. Suddenly, his dizzying wealth felt irrelevant against the harsh backdrop of their struggle. Wealth couldn't fill the void forged by human connection. What good was it if he couldn't use it to uplift others? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As he prepared to act on Maria's dream, a ghost from his past loomed, threatening to unravel everything he had meticulously crafted. Jack stood at the precipice, grappling with the choice between his public reputation and the authentic cause that Maria represented. The relentless rhythm of Chicago echoed in the background, leaving him with unanswered questions. Would he be able to rise above his past? Could he truly shift the narrative to deliver something real, something meaningful? The weight of his decision pressed down on him, igniting a spark of urgency that left readers eager for the next chapter of Jack's journey, a journey toward redemption, connection, and hope. Jack stared out at the city skyline, icy winds whipping at him as swirling snowflakes danced in the air. The duality of his life felt sharper today. Glittering towers promising success loomed above, yet below him, the streets echoed with hardship. He weighed Maria's aspirations against the gilded cage of his own existence, and it felt like the wind was trying to push him forward, urging him to act. With determination, he decided to visit the restaurant again. Each step was heavy with the cataclysm of his decision. He had the means to help Maria create the community center she so fervently dreamed of, but would he have the courage to break free from the constraints of his status? As he entered, the familiar sense of grilling meat and fresh bread enveloped him, wrapping him in warmth. Laughter erupted from the back room as families gathered for a meal, intent on creating memories. Shortly, Jack spotted Maria, her elegant warmth shining through the craziness as she tended to her duties. He watched her for a moment, his heart swelling. "Hey," he said softly, approaching her amidst the clatter of plates. She turned, her eyes lighting up with recognition. "Jack. It's good to see you again. How have you been?" "Honestly?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I've been thinking about what you said. About community." Maria tilted her head, curiosity brewing in her expression. "What about it?" "I want to help you. To make your community center a reality," he confessed, each word dripping with trepidation. Her smile faltered, eyes widening in surprise. "You mean that?" "Yeah. I do," Jack replied, a nervous excitement flooding through him. The reality of his promise washed over them, full of the weight of what it could mean. Jack saw the flicker of hope in her eyes, and it ignited a flame in his chest. This was more than just about charity, this was a chance to forge a connection, one that transcended his past and the vacuous life he was used to. "What would we need?" Maria asked, her voice steady now, but the tremor of anxiety was palpable. Jack's heart raced. "We'll need space, resources, volunteers. But we can make it happen. Together." As they began sketching ideas, the buzz of the restaurant faded, and a warm bubble of shared dreams enveloped them. They discussed locations, funding options, and how to rally the community. Laughter spilled between them like sunlight through clouds, and Jack felt hope replacing the heaviness that had once settled in his heart. But in the midst of their planning, a familiar face entered the restaurant, a figure from Jack's glamorous past, his former business partner, Derek. The man's sharp gaze landed on Jack, and he strode toward them, an unsettling grin plastered across his face. "What's this, Jack?" Derek sneered, his voice dripping with skepticism. "Is the millionaire playing community leader now?" Maria stiffened beside him, the bubbly energy between them clipping into tension. Jack felt his resolve start to waver. Could he truly step away from the man he had been? Before he could answer, Derek leaned closer, lowering his voice conspiratorially. "You know that helping these people doesn't change who you are. It won't erase your past." Jack clenched his jaw, anger boiling just beneath the surface. But more importantly, a question lingered in his mind. Would he let Derek define him? Would he allow his past, hanging like a dark cloud, to shadow this new path he yearned to carve? He straightened his spine, stealing a glance at Maria, whose eyes sparkled with belief and challenge. "I'm not who I was," Jack declared, his voice unwavering, resonating with newfound conviction. The streets outside seemed to echo with a different kind of energy, a beacon calling him toward his truth. What would Jack ultimately choose? Would he break away from his past or let it dictate his future? His heart raced with uncertainty, revving up for the choices ahead. And as Derek's laughter boomed through the restaurant, Jack stood at the edge of a new journey, ready to redefine himself. Yet the lingering question remained, could he forge a path toward redemption, or would shadows from his former life derail his newfound purpose? Jack's heart thundered in his chest as Derek's taunting laughter echoed around the restaurant. The warmth of his conversation with Maria felt like it was receding, the comforting buzz of laughter fading into an uncomfortable silence. He could feel the eyes of the patrons flicking toward them, curiosity mixed with judgment. "Why don't you take your hand off my shoulder, Derek?" Jack said, forcing calmness into his voice, hoping to drown out the memories of his past life gnawing at him. He leaned in closer, his jaw tightening. "You don't get to define me anymore." Maria's hand brushed against his, a gentle reminder of her presence. Her belief in him was a lifeline, radiating strength that urged him to stand firm against the rising tide of his insecurities. She whispered, "You got this, Jack." The soft steadiness of her voice anchored him. Derek's smirk faltered for just a second but quickly returned, more cynical than before. "You honestly think any of this matters? You think a few good deeds will mend your reputation? You're still just a charming fraud, pretending to care." He straightened, folding his arms. What'll you do next? Have a bake sale? The word stung, and Jack could feel the presence of the past closing in like a vice. All those years of hiding behind wealth and power, all the shortcuts he had taken to succeed, they loomed over him now, ready to push him back into the shadows. But as he glanced at Maria, who was watching him with an expression of deep concern, something inside him snapped. "I'm not pretending," he replied, his voice growing stronger with each word. "I want to be trapped by who I was. I want to change, and I want to help people like Maria." He took a step closer, the distance shrinking as the tension thickened the air around them. "This community center is about more than just giving back, it's about real connection, real impact. Something you wouldn't know anything about." Derek's eyes narrowed, surprised by the sudden fire in Jack's words. For a moment, the restaurant was silent, and all eyes were on them. Jack felt the weight of 1,000 past decisions pressing down on him, but in that moment, he decided to let them go. He felt the resilience simmering in his chest, a bright warmth kindling hope. Maria's small smile tugged at his heart, and he could sense the shift in the room. Perhaps others had felt the same discontent in their own lives. Perhaps they were also yearning for more. "Okay, let's say you actually want to do this," Derek said, breaking the tension with a scoff. "You really think you can make a difference?" Jack nodded, his determination swelling. "I want to just sit back and let life happen to me anymore. Let's find out together." The surrounding noise of the restaurant grew once again, families laughing, children running around, and the sound of clinking dishes returned like a comforting blanket. It was in this vibrant atmosphere that Jack realized this journey would be fraught with challenges. But every change starts with a single step, no matter how daunting it may seem. As Derek walked away, a mockery still dancing on his lips, Jack felt lighter, empowered by the support emanating from Maria. It was raw and vulnerable, but it was real. "I'm glad you decided to stand up," she exclaimed, her voice brightening the moment. "We can make this happen. Together." But just as they were about to dive back into their planning, the bell above the restaurant door chimed again. A tall woman with striking determination walked in, her presence instantly commanding attention. Jack's gut twisted. He could sense that this woman didn't just walk into places, she owned them. Jack exchanged a quick glance with Maria, both of them momentarily forgetting the impending planning of the community center. What new challenge would this mystery woman bring? The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that their path to change was about to take an unexpected turn. Would this woman help him further his mission, or complicate it in ways he never imagined? The woman strutted in like she owned the place, tall, with sharp features and an air of confidence that was almost palpable. Jack felt a pang of anxiety in his stomach. Who was she? The patrons took notice, shifting their attention away from the earlier confrontation, eyes drawn to this new presence. Maria seemed to sense his unease. "Focus on us, Jack. We have work to do." Jack nodded but couldn't shake the feeling that this woman had a purpose. She moved through the restaurant with grace, her heels clicking against the polished floor, echoing through the laughter of families and chatter of friends. There was something about her, an intensity that pulled people's gazes, a magnetic force that demanded respect. As she approached, Jack couldn't help but unconsciously straighten his posture. Curiosity sparked in the air, thickening the atmosphere. Did she come to support their community center project, or was she another reminder of the past Jack struggled to leave behind? "Excuse me," she said, her voice commanding yet smooth like silk. "I couldn't help but overhear your conversation about making a difference." Her eyes swept over Jack and Maria, assessing them as if trying to gauge their worth. Jack felt his pulse quicken. "Yes, where I'm not interested in small talk," she interrupted, her tone sharp. "I'm Olivia Hart. I run several initiatives focused on community development." She paused, letting her words settle. "If you're serious about this project, I want to help." Stunned silence enveloped the table for a moment as Jack absorbed her offer, unsure whether to be thrilled or cautious. Maria raised an eyebrow, her expression a mixture of skepticism and surprise. "And what do you get out of it?" A small smile broke across Olivia's lips, one that hinted at something deeper. "It's simple. I believe in second chances. I see potential in broken people." There it was, the raw honesty wrapped in an unapologetic challenge. Jack's heart raced. He felt seen. "Why us?" Maria cut in. "What makes you think we're worth your time?" "Because," Olivia said, her gaze unwavering, "I see the fire in both of you. You want to create real change." Then she leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. "But it's not enough to want it, you have to be willing to fight for it, no matter the cost." Jack exchanged a glance with Maria. The fire in Olivia's eyes ignited something inside him. This was not just another obstacle, it was an opportunity. An opportunity to show Derek and himself what he was capable of. "What do you propose?" Jack asked, the question pouring out before he could catch it. "I have connections. Resources. We can gather community support, raise funding," Olivia articulated, her tone laced with confidence. "But all of that requires a solid plan, and you need to be all in." He could feel Maria's apprehension radiating from her like heat. "And if we fail?" "Then you don't try again," Olivia shrugged. "But if you succeed, think of what you could do with a center like that. You're not just making an impact, you're changing narratives." Jack could almost see the flicker of hope in Maria's eyes. But how could he trust this woman? "What's the catch?" he asked, narrowing his eyes. "No catch. Just the expectations that come with success, hard work and resilience. Can you deal with that?" As their eyes locked, Jack felt a connection. Both of them were pushing for change, but their fears of failure intertwined with a growing sense of possibility. "I think we can," Jack finally replied, voice steadier than he felt. "Good," Olivia said, her smile widening. "Let's get to work. I have a feeling this is going to be bigger than just a community center." With that, she turned on her heel, commanding attention once more. Jack and Maria shared a look of determination, a silent pact forged in uncertainty. Jack felt the weight of the moment. What would they uncover together? What challenges awaited them on this new path? As they set aside their reluctance, a spark ignited within him. They were ready to take that fiery leap together. But before they could chase their vision, the doorbell chimed again. Jack turned, heart pounding. Another storm was brewing. What surprise awaited them now? The door swung open, and in walked a man in a tailored suit that practically shimmered under the restaurant's soft lighting. He looked out of place here, like a shark in a school of fish. Confidence radiated from him, and Jack could see heads turning again, this time for a different reason. "Wow," Maria muttered under her breath. "Talk about a power player." Jack couldn't take his eyes off the stranger. The man scanned the restaurant, his gaze finally landing on Olivia. For a moment, the whole room seemed to hold its breath. A flicker of recognition passed between them, sharp enough to cut through the ambience that moments ago had been filled with laughter and warm chatter. "Olivia," he said, the corners of his mouth curling into a charming smile. "I didn't expect to find you here." "Tyler," she replied, her tone clipped. There was an unmistakable tension in the air. Jack felt a knot tighten in his stomach. It was as if two worlds were colliding right before his eyes. Tyler strode over to their table, holding out a hand. "And who are these bright-eyed entrepreneurs?" Jack hesitated but managed to shake his hand. "Jack. This is Maria." "Pleasure," Tyler said, his gaze lingering on Maria a moment longer than necessary. "You've got quite the ambitious project brewing, I hear." "Something like that," Jack replied, feeling an underlying competition sparking. "Olivia has a knack for finding diamonds in the rough," Tyler said with an insincere grin. "But be careful, rare gems are often just stones in disguise." He cast a sidelong glance at Olivia, his smile slipping for a brief second. Maria cleared her throat, visibly uncomfortable. What are you doing here, Tyler? Jack could feel the mood shifting. The room felt like it was shrinking, the laughter fading into the background. This wasn't just an unexpected meeting, it felt personal, and Jack wasn't sure he wanted to be part of it. I'm here to support the community, Tyler replied, his voice oozing charm. I have my fingers in a lot of pies, as you could say. Fundraising, outreach, you name it. I can help this project of yours take off. Jack's instincts were on high alert. There was a glint in Tyler's eye that made him uneasy. And what's your angle? Olivia's eyes narrowed. You've made your living off exploiting communities, Tyler. Why would you want to help now? Tyler shrugged, unfazed. Because it's good for business, Olivia. With the right backing, a project like this could generate buzz and let us not forget, money. Jack felt Maria's fingers twitching against the table. He could sense her fear and anger bubbling beneath the surface. Olivia's tense posture told him she was wrestling with something much deeper than a mere business transaction. What's in it for you, Tyler? Jack pressed, his voice steady, looking directly at the man who seemed to thrive on manipulation. It's simple, Tyler replied, leaning closer, I like to keep my options open. You need funding, I have connections. We make a deal. Jack wanted to protect this fragile vision they had created. He glanced nervously at Maria, feeling her tension radiate. This was no longer about just them. This was a minefield, and each step forward could lead to a trap. What do you think, Maria? He asked, his voice tight. She shot him a look that screamed uncertainty. I think, she began slowly, that we need to tread carefully. We can't let him distract us from our goal. Tyler smiled like a wolf spotting prey. You know where to find me when you want to run with the big dogs. He turned and sauntered away, leaving a trail of uncertainty in his wake. The restaurant buzzed back to life, laughter filling the air once more, but the three of them sat in a thick silence. What had they just walked into? Jack felt the fire inside him waver. Olivia was suddenly back at the forefront, but she looked shaken, not the fierce leader he had seen moments ago. What now? Maria finally broke the silence, her voice barely above a whisper. I think we need to regroup, Olivia said, her eyes filled with a mix of determination and fear. This is about more than just a community center now. It's about proving we have the fight in us. In that moment, Jack knew they had crossed a line. Everything was about to change, but what awaited them on this perilous path? The atmosphere in the restaurant felt thick as they sat together in silence, grappling with the storm Tyler had just stirred. Jack could sense Olivia's resolve teetering on the edge, caught between her ambitions and a past that threatened to consume her. Maria's lips were pressed together, a line of worry etched on her face. Olivia broke the stillness. We can't let him intimidate us. He's just a distraction. Her voice had a firmer note now, the fire rekindling within her. We need to protect this project. It's our vision. Jack nodded, hoping it would be enough to steady them. What do you want to do next? We can't rush into anything. I need to confront him. I can't let him think he'll change my path, she replied, drawing a deep breath, her eyes hardening with determination. Maria shifted in her seat, a flicker of panic spreading across her features. But, Olivia, what if he retaliates? You know his reach. You can't underestimate him. Jack could feel the tension crackle between them. We can't afford to ignore him either. We need a plan, he said, trying to bridge the divide in their perspectives. Olivia held their gazes, confidence shimmering like a beacon, but beneath it, Jack saw the flicker of fear she tried to hide. Let us meet tomorrow. We'll gather our thoughts and figure out how to move forward. Maria exhaled slowly, and what if he tries to sabotage us? He's capable of more than we realize. Then we'll be ready, Olivia said, her voice steady. We'll gather the right people around us, those who want to see this project succeed. As they finished their meals, Jack's mind was racing. Every bite felt like a reminder of the precariousness of their situation. Doubts crept in, tugging at his resolve. Was it possible that Tyler could derail everything they had fought for? They paid the bill, a cloud of uncertainty hanging over them as they stepped outside. The night air was cool, a fresh contrast to the stifling tension inside. Jack tried to lighten the mood. Well, at least the food was good, right? Maria smiled weakly, but Olivia was silent as she stared into the darkness, a lost look crossing her face. He reached out, squeezing her shoulder. We'll figure it out. Together. As they walked to their cars, Olivia stopped, turning to face them. Whatever happens tomorrow, I need you both with me. We can't let him tear us apart. They exchanged glances, a pact forming without words. The three of them would battle this threat together, each of them holding a piece of the ground they were about to fight for. As they parted ways, Jack's heart raced with a mix of dread and adrenaline. His mind was spinning with the possibilities of conflict, of betrayal, but also of victory. He couldn't shake the feeling that their meeting with Tyler was only the beginning. What lay ahead would either make them stronger or break them apart. They were on the precipice. The choices they made now would echo long into the future. Could they rise against someone as powerful and cunning as Tyler? Each second felt critical now. Time was slipping away, and Jack felt the stakes rise higher with every beat of his heart. What exactly awaited them in the shadows? The night closed around him as he drove home, the weight of the impending confrontation heavy in the air. Would fear or courage dictate their next move? And in the silence of his car, the question lingered: what price were they willing to pay for their dreams? The sky was still cloaked in darkness when Jack pulled into his driveway, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. He parked his car and sat for a moment, hands gripping the steering wheel as the engine ticked quietly. Memories of their conversation flooded back, Olivia's determination, Maria's worry. Could they really hold their ground against someone like Tyler? He stepped out of the car, taking a deep breath of the crisp night air. The street was eerily quiet, adding to the sense of foreboding that gripped him. Jack's mind was a whirlwind of scenarios, each worse than the last. He started walking toward the house, the porch light warmly illuminating his path, yet it felt more like a spotlight revealing the stage for their impending showdown. Inside, he found his laptop waiting on the kitchen table. It was too early to sleep, and he knew he needed to prepare. Jack fired it up and began researching Tyler, his history, his tactics, every notch in his formidable belt. Jack's heart raced as articles filled the screen, each one detailing Tyler's ruthless business maneuvers. Merger after merger. Company after company claimed by the cold grip of ambition and control. Hours slipped by as Jack worked, fueled by coffee and rising anxiety. He crafted arguments, possible strategies, and potential allies. His chest tightened. Despite his resolve, the prospect of failure loomed large. As the clock struck midnight, a text flashed across his phone screen. Olivia. Are you awake? I'm feeling jittery. Can we talk? The tension in his shoulders eased slightly at her reach. Yeah, I'm here. Want to FaceTime? He responded, hoping to reassure her. Moments later, her familiar face appeared on the screen, framed by her bedroom, a small sanctuary in these turbulent times. But the auburn curls that usually danced around her face were now disheveled, a testament to her restless night. Jack, she started, voice trembling slightly. I'm scared. I keep thinking about what he might do. What if he tries to ruin us before we even start? His heart sank at her words. He felt the weight of the fear encasing her. We won't let that happen. We've worked too hard. Focus on tomorrow. We'll confront him together, he said, trying to bridge the gap of uncertainty in her eyes. Together, she echoed, but the vulnerability in her voice made it clear she needed more than reassurance. Remind yourself why we're doing this, he pressed on. For the community, for the people who believe in our vision. No matter what comes next, we're doing something meaningful. Olivia took a moment, and Jack could see her steadying herself, like a warrior preparing for battle. You're right. We can't let him erase everything we've built. The spark of determination flickered back into her eyes. They talked late into the night, discussing every angle and preparing for every possible outcome. Just as they wrapped up, her voice dropped to a whisper. If everything goes wrong, promise me you won't give up. Never, he said firmly, holding her gaze through the screen. We're committed to this, and to each other. We finish what we start. The call ended, but Jack's thoughts were still racing. He knew that the next day held the potential to change everything. The calmness of the evening belied the storm brewing on the horizon. Would his resolve be strong enough to withstand Tyler's relentless pursuit of control? As Jack climbed into bed, exhaustion hit him like a wave, yet sleep was elusive, every minute stretching into eternity. Would they truly find the strength to face this formidable adversary? And what lengths would Tyler go to ensure their dreams were crushed? Turning on his side, he closed his eyes, breathing in deep. Tomorrow would be the trial that defined their hopes and fears. Would they emerge as victors, or would the shadows of doubt consume them? Jack awoke to the first light of dawn creeping through his window, the golden rays piercing the darkness that lingered from last night. It felt as if the world outside had been washed clean, but tension still coiled tightly in his chest. Today was the day. The intertwining hopes and fears from his conversation with Olivia flooded back. He needed to be strong, not just for himself but for both of them. He showered quickly, letting the hot water wash over him, but it didn't quite wash away the weight he felt. Every drop was a reminder of the stakes at play. He dressed, choosing a navy blazer that felt sturdy and dependable, like he needed it to be. As he slipped into his shoes, determination settled in a quiet resolve. Jack stepped outside, the chill of the morning air biting at him, but the freshness stirred something inside. He thought of Olivia, of her unwavering belief in their mission. He had to focus on everything they had built. They were a team, and teams relied on their members to stand firm. He made his way to a coffee shop nearby, needing the caffeine boost to fuel the anxieties and strategies battling in his mind. The familiar barista greeted him, offering the usual pleasantries. As Jack ordered, he felt the warmth of community wrap around him, a reminder of why they were facing Tyler. The friendly chatter in the cafe, the laughter mixed with the whirring of the espresso machine, was a comforting contrast to the storm brewing inside him. With coffee in hand, Jack returned home, and as he sat down at the kitchen table, his laptop beckoned him again. He watched the cursor blink. All that uncertainty echoed in that little blink. He typed up the last of his notes, honing the arguments that he hoped would persuade their board. His thoughts flickered to Olivia. Would she be okay? Was she as ready as he tried to be? An hour later, he received another text from her. I'm on my way. Ready to knock some sense into him? Jack smiled. Her strength was like a beacon, lighting up his own insecurities. Absolutely. We'll hit him with everything we've got, he responded, filled with both admiration and love for her tenacity. Minutes felt like hours as he waited. He looked out the window, watching people start their day, oblivious to the battles fought in quiet corners of the world. But Jack wasn't oblivious. He was fully aware that complexity and courage often walked hand in hand. Then came the sound of her car crunching over the gravel. Just like that, his heart raced again. Jack rushed to meet her at the door, and when he saw Olivia, her vibrant spirit infusing the air, his breath hitched momentarily. She wore her determination like armor, her eyes reflecting a mix of determination and resolve. Ready? She asked, her voice steady. More than ever, he replied. The drive to the office felt surreal. They exchanged quick glances, each one more reassuring than the last. As they pulled up to the sleek, towering building where their lives could change and possibly break, anxiety gripped Jack's gut. But Olivia's hand found his, grounding him. Whatever happens in there, we face it together, she said, squeezing his hand. That simple gesture fortified him. They stepped out of the car, and Jack's confidence began to build. They walked toward the entrance, unified, hearts charging forward into the unknown. As they entered the lobby, Jack glanced up at the massive walls that seemed to surround him, reminders of the power and wealth that Tyler wielded. But in that moment, Jack realized something profound. It wasn't the power of money that defined strength, it was connection. The warmth of his hand in Olivia's was worth more than any black card and all its privileges, but just as they were about to reach the elevator, a familiar face appeared in their path. Tyler. He stood there, a smile playing on his lips, eyes glinting with mischief and knowledge. Well, if it isn't the underdogs come to play. A wave of dread washed over Jack, but Olivia stepped forward, unflinching. It was her strength that spurred him on. "Let's get this over with," she said. Voice unwavering, Jack felt the shifting tides of confrontation. With everything on the line, he could sense this was the moment that would define their journey and also test their courage in ways they hadn't foreseen. Would they stand their ground against Tyler's formidable presence, or would this be the moment where everything slipped through their fingers? Jack's heart raced as he stepped into the elevator beside Olivia, feeling the tension pulse around them. What secrets would come to light in this battle, and who would truly emerge unscathed? As the elevator doors slid closed, Jack felt a chill. The small space sealed them in, a metal cage that felt more confining by the moment. He glanced at Olivia, her expression steady. There was a fire in her eyes that gave him strength. She was ready for this fight, somehow, that made him feel less alone in facing Tyler. The elevator hummed softly, rhythmically rising to the top floor. Each passing second soaked in the weight of what was about to unfold. Jack's fingers entwined with Olivia's, their hold firm, anchoring him. The light above flickered, momentarily casting shadows across their faces. "All right," he said quietly, trying to inject a burst of optimism into the air. "We've got our plan. We go in, lay out our case, and then we're not afraid to stand up to him," Olivia finished, her words ringing true. "We know what we're fighting for." The elevator reached their floor with a soft ding, jolting Jack's heart even faster. The doors slid open, revealing a sleek, modern office adorned with over-the-top luxury. It was all polished surfaces and delicate decor, an environment designed to intimidate. Jack stepped out first, feeling the oppressive atmosphere wash over him. Tyler was already waiting, lounging casually in a leather chair in front of a massive mahogany desk. He looked up when they entered, his smile oozing arrogance. "Well, look who decided to show up. The shiny new team taking on the big bad wolf," he taunted, feigning surprise. Jack squared his shoulders. "We're here to talk business, Tyler. No games." "Ah, but you see, Jack," Tyler leaned forward, his gaze piercing. "Everything we do is a game, isn't it? Every decision, every move, it's all part of the business." The unsettling confidence in Tyler's voice made Jack shift uncomfortably. Olivia stepped forward, her jaw set. "We're not playing. We have a real proposal that will benefit everyone involved. We're prepared to show you how." Jack felt a surge of pride at Olivia's assertiveness. This was no longer just a confrontation, it was their moment, their chance to change the narrative. But Tyler's smile didn't waver. "And what makes you think anyone would listen to you too? You're outclassed here," he smirked, eyeing them like actors on a stage. Jack swallowed hard, the storm of emotions rising again. "We might be outclassed on paper, but we have something you don't: integrity. We care about what we're building, not just the bottom line." "Integrity?" Tyler laughed, the sound echoing in the room. "How quaint. You really think that LL stand up in a world like this?" Jack clenched his fists. "If we're going to have a future, then we need to start treating people like more than just numbers." "I'm entertained. But that idealism is cute, really. Let's skip ahead to the part where you realize that with your limited experience, you're wasting my time." Tyler rose from his chair, towering over them with the authority of someone who believed he couldn't be challenged. Jack felt the air thicken as the tension spiraled. Doubt crawled into his mind, but he glanced at Olivia. She remained resolute, her chin slightly raised. "Let us show you the numbers, Tyler. Let us present our data," she urged, voice steady like a lighthouse guiding them through a storm. Fine, Tyler replied, his demeanor shifting slightly, intrigued despite himself. Let us see what you've got. Just as Olivia reached into her bag for documents, the lights flickered again, this time dimming to a dull glow. A reminder that they were mere players in a game much larger than themselves. Jack's heart pounded, knowing this was the moment to shine, but what he didn't expect was the fallout that could follow. Tyler's dark shadow loomed larger with each twist and turn. Would they be able to shake off his influence, or would they become casualties in this high-stakes battle? As the lights came back on, Jack met Tyler's gaze with firm resolve. The game had begun, but Jack felt the weight of the truth behind every word, every calculation. Would the real power lie in their resolve to fight for what was right, or would they simply become pawns in Tyler's elaborate scheme? The room vibrated with silent tension, the unspoken stakes hanging heavily in the air. Jack stood taller, every ounce of courage flowing through him as he prepared to face the man who represented not just wealth, but the very temptations that had once consumed him. Tyler leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, a calm confidence about him as if he were almost dismissive. Let us hear it then, Tyler said, a bored lilt to his voice. Okay, Olivia said, her voice steady despite the weight in the air. We believe in creating a community center that provides resources for families in need. We've done our research. She skimmed through the papers, the sound of crisp pages rustling filling the quiet before she pulled out the charts they had painstakingly prepared. It laid out statistics on community needs, the benefits of safe spaces, and examples of previous successful projects that had changed lives. Jack watched as she gained momentum, talking not just about numbers, but about people's real lives. The faces of those who would benefit danced in his mind, and he felt every inch of resolve flooding back. He didn't just want this project to succeed for himself, it was for Maria, for the community they wanted to uplift. The center won't just help families, it will build relationships, partnerships, and a stronger community as a whole. We won't just be numbers on a spreadsheet. We have a vision. Olivia's eyes sparkled with passion. Jack felt a warmth spread through him. He caught a flicker of surprise in Tyler's eyes. Just for a moment was that a crack in his armor, but Tyler gave a critical smirk. Resources. Passion. These are all lovely. But what you need is cash and influence. Do you have any of that to play with? Olivia straightened, prayers of courage coursing through her. With your backing, our vision will ignite change, and you'll be part of that legacy, she pressed. Jack took a deep breath, stepping forward. This is about much more than just wealth, Tyler. This community needs someone who genuinely cares about improving lives, not just someone trying to bond business strategies for profit. You can flip this narrative and be remembered as a leader who invests in humanity, and that's worth much more than a quick return. Tyler's brow furrowed for a moment, but he quickly recovered, shaking his head dismissively. You're naive, Jack. You're still underestimating how this world works. All I see is potential for risk. Every risk holds potential, Jack replied, defiance rising and filling his voice. But we can change the story. We can transform lives more than any bank statement ever could. It's time to stop playing it safe. For the first time, the air thick with challenge silenced Tyler. Jack could see seeds of doubt forming in the man's confidence, and he pressed forward, propelled by the belief in their mission. The back and forth felt like a dance, each step navigating towards something bigger. Let us think about this, Tyler said slowly, eyebrows nodding. If I were to invest what's in it for me? Jack felt the warmth leave him, the reality of Tyler's manipulative game swinging back into view. It's an investment in legacy. Imagine being part of something that breaks the cycle of poverty. You'll gain more than monetary success, you will secure a lasting impact on lives. But if Tyler sensed Jack's passion was divine, he was not ready to give in just yet. He leaned back. Maybe I want something more tangible, something I can brand. Maria's voice broke into the room, a gentle yet firm reminder of their purpose. She had slipped in unnoticed, her presence calming. You must look deeper, Tyler. Life is not just about profit margins. Imagine being a part of something real, something life-changing. Her voice echoed with sincerity, layering warmth and attention. Tyler blinked, temporarily trapped in the weight of her authenticity. Let us make a deal. Let us run this center independently and show you results. Give us a year. If we don't succeed, we'll step down, Jack offered, the words rolling off his tongue like a vow. Tyler's interest peaked, and for a moment, a flicker of humanity crossed his features, as though he were really wrestling with the idea. I want to pay to fail, Tyler finally replied, but his voice held less certainty. A year and the community center has to generate not just interest but revenue. I'm laying down my chips, and I expect transparency in return. Jack felt adrenaline surge. This was it. This was the moment he wanted. We will bring in volunteers, place a board to oversee operations, and every step we take will be open to you. We won't hide anything. Very well, Tyler said, irritation masked with pragmatism. You have 1 year. I'll consider this my gamble. But if you fail, it comes out of your pocket and your dream dries up with it. Nerves racked through Jack as Tyler extended his hand. All in, then? He queried. Absolutely. Jack affirmed, grasping Tyler's hand with a firm shake, all the while feeling the weight of what lay ahead. After the deal was struck, uncertainty hung palpably in the air like fog. But as they stepped away from Tyler, Jack couldn't help but feel the fire of transformation within himself and Olivia. I can't believe we did that. Olivia exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with newfound hope. Together, we can forge a powerful connection, Jack smiled, looking at Maria who stood by with pride glowing in her eyes. Let us begin the real work. As they walked out of the imposing office, the sun spilled through the glass doors, illuminating the path ahead. Jack felt lighter, a sense of purpose leading the way. The vision they dreamed of was within reach, built on the foundation they had laid together. They were no longer just fighting for a cause, they were igniting change. They were a team, fueled by resilience and determination, ready to break down walls and redefine success together. And with hearts full of hope, each step felt like a promise, one they were determined to keep. Now, it's time for you to take action. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed that algorithm, because it truly makes a difference. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your thoughts matter. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even 1 more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.